I got started in fencing. The first fencing thing, I didn't even know fencing existed. No one in our family has ever fenced. We're a basketball, football family. Like we're not. I played like basketball since pretty much
Five.
ever. Yeah, like forever. And then it was in kindergarten. There was one of my classmates had fenced. He had a birthday party. We went to the birthday party and I made him cry. And then and then the coach asked me to come back. And so after that, um, I fenced foil for 2 years, and then I was really bad at it. I was really bad at foil. I just could not understand it. I don't know why. Now I think I'm much better, but at the time, I didn't get it. I didn't. I
We
was like,
went through a lot of broken blade. Let's just put
oh,
it that
very
way.
many. Yeah, like tons. I think I was just scared most of the time. Like I just would not go forward. I don't know why. But then I went to a an OSU camp and
No, it was Darnold.
when I switched to Saber.
Mm-hmm.
No, because I went to the OSU camp and I was still fencing foil.
Well, that's true. You did switch over to OSU. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
But I said right. But at the Arnold, one of the Arnolds, I don't know, whichever one, we've been to many, but whichever one I went to the year that I switched to Saber, we saw that Saber was there and we watched them and I said that I wanted to do it, but my mom was very against it. Like she did not like it. She thought it was barbaric. And she thought that it was like I would get hurt. And so we were like, okay, whatever. So we stuck with foil and then we met Donald Anthony there.
We're struggling to figure out fencing. We have no clue.
Yeah, no idea. No clue whatsoever. Obviously, because I was not getting many results in foil. So then after that, I went to, he suggested OSU, like a camp. And so I went and I practiced foil for the first, I think for the first 2 weeks. And it was like a 4 week camp in the summer. And then Vladimir Nazlymov was like, hey, you're way too aggressive. Coach Vladimir really loves to like have us play different sports. He would use it as like an indicator. Like he would just see how you are, like what your tendencies are, like how your attitude and how competitive you are and whatnot. And of course, I'm sure Coach Nazimov was definitely a little biased towards Saber, but he was like, "Yeah, you're way too aggressive for foil. We need to do a switch. This is not working out. You're gonna have to go with Saber. It's just that's the only way, really." And then I just started going there. When you get the chance to practice with Coach Nazimov, it's like that's like
Once we realized who he was.
Yeah, we of course we were like no idea, like completely.
He said we have to change her whooping, and I said her open, like her stance. He said whooping. We have to change her whooping. I realized he said weapon, and I was so upset because I'd already bought all of her everything for foil.
Yeah.
But she was delighted. She loved it. Well, first of all, Vladimir had kind of a prescription on traveling too much.
Yeah.
He said, don't do it, don't burn her out. Saying we'll punch her ticket in 4 years. And so he asked that we try this test. We went to Mission to their tournament out in Long Island, and she did pretty well. And it was decided that we tried to more aggressively at least try for the championship.
Yeah. I wasn't really in, like, obviously it was fencing, I was going to tournaments, but I wasn't really too into it for a while. In my first 4 years, it wasn't really something that I was like, oh yeah, like I go, everybody when they start a sport, they're like, yeah, I could go to the NBA or I could go to the Olympics, but it wasn't really something that I was like, this is what I want, this is what I want to do. It was a knack, and we we signed up for Y12 and Y14, but for some reason we couldn't go to the Y12. We ended up going to Y14, and I did pretty well. And I was like, this is kind of fun. Like, this is like something that I want to do. And that's the first time it kind of came into my mind. And then it left for a little bit. And then my last Y12 event at nationals, I ended up getting 12th. Yeah, he said if I can make the top 12, then the next year I could win it. And after that, I kind of went through another like phase where I wasn't really too into it. And then I think I really got into it in my last year of Y14. And that's when I started actually seeing results. And I think that probably definitely had some impact on how much I wanted to put into the sport. But I think I got second at like the October Y14 NAC that year. I have the capability of doing well. So we should definitely go through this. And then we had a long year of practicing and working hard. And I went from an E to an A in the course of like 5 months. Like each tournament, I was getting a new rating. And I was like, this is pretty cool. Like I'm getting good results. I'm like beating good people. And then finally, I got my A at the Div 1A NAC. I think I got another top 8 in Y14 that year somewhere. And then Summer Nationals came around. And I just had a lot of really good results that year. We had done like one international event. Like it was like a youth Pan Ams. And
yeah, Puerto Rico wasn't.
It was heartbreaking. It was hard.
I think she was shocked at my opinion was that she was not prepared for how vocal they can be at Pan Ams when they're cheering for their own countries.
I like crushed it in pools, like came out first seed, no problem. And then I defense Candela Espinosa from Argentina. I beat her in pools, but she had like so many people there, so many people in that crowd. I'm pretty sure I started crying during the bout. I'm pretty sure. I'm almost 100% sure.
With that.
No, it's fine. I'll admit to it. I was like 13. Like I think it's okay. 12. That's like traumatizing. I'm never gonna emotionally recover from that one. So then we started fencing more internationals, and that started when I was 15. I remember the first one we went to was in Gotelo.
No. The first
Conan.
Conan.
Conan. Yeah. No one likes Conan. I remember that was fun, though. It wasn't fun until the end.
It was an adventure.
Or it was fun until the end. But because that was my first one and I got 6th. And so that was a really big deal too. But it was, then all that stuff happened and then we never went back to Conan after that. So.
And then the second World Cup
I got
in Islingen. And
you
won 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was, really awesome. We thought, wow, this is easy. Now it's a struggle. We thought figuring out the point system for regionals to qualify for nationals was difficult.
It gets worse, yeah.
I mean, just the qualifications for world team,
having someone around that can explain it to you is like such an important thing. We unfortunately didn't really have anybody. Like we were just kind of
winging it.
We were winging it.
We would read and reread the qualification paths over and over again and just try to figure out. And then we had to balance the fact that she was in school and, what are we really going to get from this?
Yeah.
That was the first year. And she did not, her first year of cadets, make the world team. She was close. But just not enough. And you kind of the balance is impossible to know if you're doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
When they're that young, you just wonder. It's a good time because they're not, their grades matter at that point, for sure. You want them to keep progressing in school. But if they have a goal, and we tried to always, everything each year, we would have a measurable goal. And the first thing we learned the hard way starting out later was that you can't compare yourselves to the other people's successes because that's not you. You don't have the same coach. You don't have the same situation. Nothing's the same.
Yeah. It's
so
hard.
Once we did that and we just started focusing on, okay, when she was in cadets, I was like, can we make the cut first of all at the NACs? And then that started happening regularly.
Yeah.
And then it was like, can we make the top 16? And that started happening. The first time he caught us at a NAC that I had signed her up for a junior event was not pretty. He did not sanction that that event. He did not want her to fence up. He wanted her to stay within Y14 and cadets, but she did well enough that he began to rethink it, and he really wanted her to do the international events after that. So that was the first year of cadet internationals was, heartbreaker because it was close, but, just not enough.
I made the team when I was 16 and my last year of cadet, which was a year ago.
Yeah. Seems like 10 years.
A little over a year ago. But the season before this year.
2019.
Yeah. It was a really hard year. It was like a lot worse than my first year of cadet, because in my first year of cadet I had results. Like I had things that, like, people were telling me things that were like validating the work that I was putting in, and I was beating these people that were like big deals. And then I went into my second year. I don't know if it became like a little bit normal, or my expectations were higher, or I just didn't reach the expectations that I had before. But we realized that even with all the great stuff that I did the first year, it wasn't enough to get on the team. So I was going to have to do more the second year. And I really, honestly, I believe that I was just a weird fencer in my first year of cadet. And I came out of the blue, and some people just didn't know how to fence me yet. And then once I started understanding like actual strategy and like getting more experience, and I was starting to overthink some bouts, and that caused me to lose quite a bit. But I just like was focusing on being a good fencer and doing the good things well, instead of what I was doing the year before, which was kind of just winging it in a sense, and just like doing what I had to do to win the bout. So instead of just like doing what I had to do to win the bout, I was doing the right things to win the bout, because I knew that I was going to have to start fencing people at some point that would only be doing the right things, and they would be doing them well. And in order to actually counter that, I would have to be able to also do the good things and do them well, and understand those things and understand how to counter those. So that transition was really, really difficult. And I think that was what I was meeting a lot of disappointment, because I was trying to so hard to reach that point and give it a shot, like throw it in there, see if it works. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. But it was hard because there were only so many opportunities at that to get experience like that in a competition. I remember at Junior Olympics, I did really poorly in the cadet section. I did really very poorly. And event was over, and they were announcing all the people that were on the team, or the other two people, Mika and Honor. And both of them, Honor wasn't there because she had done super well in junior, but Mika was on the podium, and I was off to the side. I was sitting there because I had lost in the table 64, and I was just kind of there. I wasn't up with everybody else. And I could tell that in that moment, a lot of people didn't really expect me to do well. A lot of people didn't really expect me to keep up with my teammates and get a good result at World Championships. A lot of people probably wanted somebody else to go instead. I don't know. It was hard. It was just really, really hard going from a year of constantly hearing these good things to going into the next year and having that feeling that just nobody really wanted you to actually be on the team. Because obviously, like, it's a given that everybody is always going to want to win when they go into a tournament, but how you want to win, how you want to do everything, like what you want to do in bout, is also a huge part. And sometimes wanting to win is good, but also just wanting to do well. And like, I really just wanted to go into that tournament and prove that I really just deserved to be on the team. But leading up to that point, I knew that I deserved to be on that team. And I just needed to show everybody else that I deserved to be on that team.
What was really great about the whole thing, though, for me watching it, it was kind of, it was a long row. Each bout, each direct elimination, she had to go see people that she had lost to that year.
Yeah, it just ended up working out really, really well.
Or maybe we're jinxed. It might be me.
I swear, no, listen, here's how it works. We had everything fine up until somebody is like, tells us like, oh, wow, you've never, like, this has never happened to you before. Like, you've never missed a flight. You've never lost your luggage. yada, 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 something like that. And then it happens every single time afterwards. We always bring our stuff on just in case, like on the plane, but we
did
never
do
lost
that.
anything.
We had learned from, we listened because we didn't know what we were doing. We listened. You know, we always carried on everything she's supposed to carry on.
Next, like, tournaments for the rest of the season, we lost our stuff.
Bulgaria.
And before that, from a junior event, we had not even gotten our stuff back already. Like, we had already not gotten our luggage back from the last World Cup. So we had that lost, and then we got different bags, packed different stuff, brought them to Bulgaria, and they still lost it again. They were still gone. All of it was disappearing.
And between that one, the most remarkable to me was that Bulgaria to the next, because, you know, we had to, you get reimbursed, but you still have to buy it. And so I had bought so much stuff in between the 2 back-to-back weeks that our plane started out late from Bulgaria to Paris, and we had to spend the night in Paris, and even like 6 hours or 8 hours later the next day, they called to say our bags were in Bulgaria, and they had had on this trip, we didn't know yet, had lost the new bag that we got her, but we were literally, I was so broke. We were in Paris, and we were so broke.
We couldn't even pay the cab driver the full fare back.
Okay, in my defense, I had so many euro. I had like 110.
We thought we were going to be fine.
180 euro in my hand. And so I knew the cab ride to where I wanted to go, for her to see the Arc de Triomphe and walk around, see the sign, and have some lunch on, you know, near, just experience it. I was like, we can do this with no money. What I didn't calculate for was that there is a peak time for taxis, and it went from 30 euros to 50 euros. And so I only had
we came back and we were
international
like going through change and stuff, and we were like, will you take, like, because we didn't have American, like, we didn't have US dollars either. We had no more money, like none. And so we were like going through quarters. We were like, will you like take a bunch of these?
He took pity on us. Either that or he just wanted me out of his taxi.
Adaptable.
We're very adaptable.
Yeah, that's the one trait that I say we both got.
Fortunate is that if you lose your blades like that and there's no vendor, the team is very supportive. If people lend you stuff, you can cobble together everything. So don't panic.
It's just harder if you're a lefty. But honestly, we're getting a lot more lefties. Like, there's a lot more lefties as the days go by. So dreams at this point, long term, like pretty long term, Olympic 2024. If I'm going, it's gonna, like, I'm gonna win. Like, there's no, like, if I go, I'm winning, period. Like, there's no argument about it. I would not be able to walk away from it and be happy at all. Like, yeah, it's sick that I got to go to the Olympics, but if I don't win, then it doesn't matter. Like, honestly,
win it all or just place in the middle?
No, win it all. Another long-term goal is that I want to get a perfect record at NCAAs. I think that would be super cool. Still courting, looking around. I mean, there's so many great options, but it's just been so hard, like, with everything that's been happening, you know, no visits, like, on campus. You gotta mostly Zoom calls. You know, it's hard with testing. I haven't been able to take an ACT or an SAT because they've all been canceled every single time.
I don't know. We'll see if it's working. I mean, she's still pretty sinewy.
Can you?
Sorry.
I am very strong, actually. Calls me sinewy, but I am just, I'm super buff, actually. So.
She hits you the tiny little thing, but she is working out very hard. So
I bet
that's all she can do.
I bet I can bench press more than you.
I bet you can.